Hi everyone, welcome to your weekly edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Rabonis and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I am excited to announce that our new catalog as well as our new online exclusives are available as of May 6th. So hopefully you've had a chance to check out the new selections. If you haven't, my website's listed at the bottom, laurenrabonis.stampinup.net. You can see both the new catalog assortments and all of the new online exclusive products, which don't show up in a catalog but are available for you to purchase online or through a demonstrator like myself. If you're in Canada and you do not have a demonstrator, please reach out. I would love to get you connected with the catalog and answer any questions that you do have. So today on my edition of Show Me How It's Done, I would like to show you how to use a bundle that is part of a suite from our online exclusives. So you can see those all online, but I have this lovely printed little page that you can also take a peek at. The Floral Impressions Suite can be purchased all together if you'd like everything that you see us using today, plus a few other things, or you can buy each of those pieces individually, whether it's the bundle at 10% off with the stamps and dies, or the stamps, dies, paper, embossing folder, embellishments, and ephemera pack all sold separately as well. So today for our project, I'm mostly focusing on the Impressions Abloom bundle in combination with the Floral Impressions Designer Series paper. So you can see quite a few of these patterns already on the paper, and hopefully if you order the package, you'll be able to see even more. The Impressions Abloom stamp set has a great variety of stamps that you can use in two-step stamping, some great sentiments, and I am a sucker for dies. So it also has dies to cut out some of those flowers, both the perimeter of a stamped flower or a finer detail if you just want to do embossing on your flower like I'm doing today. There's no stamping on those flowers. But the fun thing about this set is these ovals. So these two ovals have two options. So this one is just a standard oval. It cuts out one shape. This one, however, cuts out a teeny tiny frame border along with a center of an oval as well that you can use for something in the future. So there's lots of potential for these sets. What I did for my project today is I took the larger of the two ovals and I cut my paper with that, the Floral Impressions. And then what I did is instead of having one giant oval on my paper, I decided to chop the oval in half and I made two baskets for my flowers. So basically out of one of those ovals that you'll cut from the paper, you can make two cards if you would like to, and then you're going to add a bunch of other details to this project using whatever flowers and die cuts you want, as well as some of the stamping. So let's get crafting. If you'd like to stamp along with me, I will give you all of the measurements for these projects, and you're welcome to recreate them anytime. You can also use a different stamp set if that's what you have. So I'm going to move one of these out of the way because they are identical, but you can see I just played with two different colors. I did the cloud cover and Darling Duckling background, and then I switched the sentiment color. So if one of them had blue, the other has yellow, vice versa. So we're going to start with a card base. I'm using fresh Freesia for my base, and this one is going to be 4 1/4 by 11. So it's going to be a card that opens from the top, and then you're going to put a score line in the middle of that at 5 1/2. On the inside of our card, we're going to need something to write on. So that for me is going to be a piece of basic white cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4. Now, of course, you can come back later if you'd like and add a little bit of scrap designer paper to the inside of this card, or maybe you want to stamp some of those gorgeous flowers. those are all options that you can add anytime. For the most part, I like to figure out who the card is for first, because for some people I need all the space in the card to write, and then for others I'm able just to write a quick and simple message, and so then I have a little bit more freedom to stamp things in there. Now the front of our card, before we add any other details, we're going to do a little bit of subtle stamping. And I don't know if you can see it, but there are flowers hidden in the background, and it just kind of brings your card to life a little bit. You do not have to do this step, but if you'd like to, what you're going to grab is a Versamark ink pad, and then the larger of the flowers from that stamp set. Now the reason I'm using Versamark is because if I was to use fresh Freesia ink, it would be quite dark and it would stand out quite a little bit. All I'm looking for is something very subtle. The other alternative, of course, would be to use the embossing folder that is also available as part of this suite if you're just wanting something subtle. But Versamark is fun because you can use it on any single cardstock color, and all it does is darken the image behind it. So you're gonna barely see this. I know, if you kind of have to tilt it towards the light, but as that sets, we're gonna be able to just have that nice background feature onto our card. All right, next we need to cut 2 layers to make this kind of feature in the background. Now I know they look very random because I have cut 2 circles out of the middle of my white, and that is because we don't want to waste paper. Keep in mind, this basic white sheet only goes like that. You're barely seeing any of it, but it really does add a nice feature to the card. If I had the card without it, it would look cute, but a little plain in the back. Okay, so we are going to use that piece of white, but because we're layering it and you're barely seeing any of it, don't be afraid to grab dies. And I always just use my Stylish Shapes because I use these circles all the time, and I just cut the background out of my paper before layering it up. Nobody's going to know that it's gone, and it's easy enough for you to be able to repurpose some of that paper from this project. So these 2 measurements is what we need. Hey, I need to grab a ruler because I am drawing a blank on their measurements. I had them all memorized. Okay, so 3 1/4 across by 5 inches long. And that is a piece of basic white and a piece of the designer series paper in whichever pattern you want. I chose a very subtle pattern, and then I went with one of the busier ones for the flower baskets. But of course, there's so many gorgeous ones there. You have your pick. It's up to you. Okay, so to layer this, we're going to make it very simple for you. We don't want any adhesives in the corner areas because those are the areas that stick out. We don't want to make any mistakes and have them show through. So we're just going to throw a couple strips of adhesive in the center of your card. For me, I have to work around those circles. And then you can choose whether you're going to aim this to the right or to the left. It's completely up to you. I think I'm just going to do a slight tilt. And the only thing I want to be sure of is that I can see white coming out of all 4 of the sides. Apart from that, it is completely up to you how much white you show. And yeah, you can tilt this however you want. On the back of this piece, now that it's connected, we're going to add dimensionals. And those dimensionals give this piece a bit of a lift and kind of bring it to life for you. So don't be afraid to just add those for sure on all 4 perimeter pieces, and then maybe even one in the center to keep it nice and steady for you. There we go. You are putting quite a lot on this piece, so you can build a nice sturdy base for it. Go. All right. Now, when I'm adding this to the front of my card, I can choose to go crazy and keep tilting one way or the other. But what I actually did is I made my designer series paper straight on the card. And I know it's kind of hard to see that, but it is. It's straight on the card. I've got a nice even border on the top, the sides, and the bottom. And then that white piece in the back gives the illusion that I've still erred on the side of craziness and made everything crooked, but we didn't. So we're okay. Next, we're going to bring in half of that oval and pop it up on dimensionals. This will make your basket of sorts. And so, of course, you could turn it over and use the other side. You could use the Country Woods designer paper, which has some really great subtle patterns. Or we have one more package of paper, and I'm drawing a blank on the name, but I want to say Textured Essentials, and there's some nice grass and wood grain pieces in there too. So you can use whatever you'd like. Here's our basket. We've put that down near the bottom. We need to give our camera a second to focus. Now, in the rest of this space, you get to do whatever you want. I'm going to tell you the pieces that I used, and you're welcome to cut out the same, but you also can just cut out different ones if you prefer. So for our large flower, we have one large Misty Moonlight flower. We are then going to grab another smaller flower and put a dimensional in the center and put this up. Now, I've had people ask, is there, a certain way you have to line these flowers up? Don't worry about it. They look great any way you do it. And then the flower center pieces, we're going to do the large flower center for this card, or this flower, and then the smaller one for the other purple flower. So again, dimensionalizing because we might as well. Let's get this out of our way so we don't risk losing it. And on the back, we're going to add a nice big dimensional, oops, there we go, and plunk that onto the card. Hang you down that way. We'll add all the leaves in at the very end, okay? Now for the fresh Freesia flower, I'm only doing one layer of flower plus the teeny tiny little flower center. And I need a mini glue dot for that because that fits perfectly in the center. One mini glue dot. Put you there. For the back of this one, we're doing dimensionals once again. I like to just do one nice big chunk of a edge piece rather than lots of small pieces. And I just kind of move that up to the top here. Before you add in all your leaves, let's do our sentiment. And because I did the cloud cover background, I'm going to do Darling Duckling for my sentiment. But here's another way to use that Versamark, and we didn't have to switch inks. You can bring the Versamark back in here and stamp this background too. And again, very tricky for you guys to see, but if you are up close and looking at my card right in person, you'll be able to see that slight detail. Secret Sea is another one of our new in colors, and it is gorgeous. It's darker than a navy, but lighter than a black. So really easy to use. And I'm just grabbing the word thanks from the Impressions Abloom stamp set. Whenever you're using ink pads, especially new ones, just tap, tap, tapping, because we don't want ink all over the place. Now this little scrap of paper, I will let you know, I've made it longer than you actually need. I made it 3/4 of an inch wide, and then this one is about 2 inches or 1.5. But I wanted my class attendees actually who made this card at my May monthly card club, I wanted them to be able to choose to put the word thanks or mom, because this could have been a Mother's Day card for them as well. And along the lines of my monthly card class, just so you guys know, anybody who places an online order of $40 or more, and that's before shipping and tax, you automatically get sent a set of my monthly card club cards, and they're all pre-prepped for you. You just have to add your own sentiments and assemble them. And this was one of the ones that we did this month. So that's a fun little perk. And those are available to anyone in Canada. You can order from me and I will mail those out to you. So just so you guys know, it's available. And just tuck that in behind your flower. Now for your great little leaves. So I cut 4 leaves out. These can be tricky to put on. So if you have it handy, I'm going to suggest you grab your little glue dots. And all we're going to do is we just basically put the little leaf onto the glue dot. And then you just gently pull off. So there's a bit of adhesive now on the back of my leaf, and I'm just going to tuck this right underneath the flower. Might bump into the dimensional under there, and that's okay. Right, so you can add all 4 of them anywhere you'd like. The nice thing is if you don't want to lose these leaves, you can just go ahead and put them all onto the roll of your glue dots, and then they won't get lost. Just pull them off one at a time. And add that to the back here. Right. One tucked under, and the other tucked under. And last but not least, there are some really beautiful gems that come with this suite. Actually, I think my box had them. I got an order in this morning. There we go. Just didn't have them when I designed the card, so I used these little holographic, they look like pearls almost, and they look stunning. But here's the strawberry set as well, the champagne kind of at the top, and then the 2 light pinks. So this will look really pretty if you add that to this card as well. That's kind of what's meant to go with the suite, but that's okay. That's the beauty of all the Stampin' Up! Products, is they will complement each other no matter what. So we're just using these little holographic iridescent ones. I did a large and a medium, and we need a small because we got a rule of 3s. And 1 small up on the tag there. And there you go. There is a set of thank you cards. I'm going to bring back that yellow one so you can see the difference. It's subtle, but it's there. And I hope you enjoy our project. If you would consider clicking that like and subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. And maybe make a comment and tell me which one you prefer, the cloud cover background or the darling duckling. We'll take a little poll and see which one wins. I look forward to crafting with you guys again very soon. If you are interested in my calendar of events, send me a note and I can mail those anywhere in Canada, so you can sign up for classes, or you can just consider joining me every Tuesday at noon for my Show Me How It's Done videos. Bye.